Good evening, everyone. There are plenty of seats in the front for those of you that may want to sit, or if there are people outside. Welcome, the first legislative session of 2023. Every time I say that number, I get a little goosebumps. So welcome, everybody. We are going to have a long meeting, and we're also going to have a special meeting. We are changing the agenda a little bit. I'm going to give sort of an opening statement. I will flip through the PowerPoint very quickly, but I do think it's important for, yeah, please sit down. These are, please. All right. Welcome. And so we have a very exciting meeting today, and we will also be doing our reorganization. We announce all the meetings for the year, so there's a lot of content here. There will be time for pictures, etc., for those folks who are here from the police department and families and friends. Okay, so let us start. I think. Oh, so you're the, I forget, I'm so used to.
That's okay.
So used to Martha, who's now been promoted to the town. Congratulations again to her. We'll start with the pledge on this one and then do attendance and everything. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Trustee Fritchie,
I am present.
trustee Lopez,
Present.
trustee White,
Present.
trustee Casada,
Present.
and Mayor Levin.
Present. Jamie, how's the sound? There were people in here earlier today to fix. We've been having problems with mics. Sound is okay?
It's perfect. You may want to actually move back.
Move back. Oh.
I'm not joking. It's that good.
Into the mics. Okay.
Made some improvements.
Yeah.
I would say be normal.
Okay, great.
So the first item is a special presentation, Mayor?
Now, the first item is some
you.
commentary from me.
Okay,
Right.
okay.
I will not be reading the whole thing, but I do want to make some comments. We had an inauguration where we were honored to have many members from different levels of government, newly elected, Congressman Lawler, who was here now to get sworn in, or Dana Levenberg, who is now Assemblywoman, moving up to higher state level. Pete Harcum was here. His district has now includes Ossining, which it did not in the past. Liz Feldman was appointed and sworn in for remaining year, while Dana Levenberg resigned her position to be supervisor. We congratulated everyone, but the most important people that were sworn in were our very own Manuel Casada and Dana White. Congratulations. I say that because for two reasons. Number one, it's super important that we have relationships at all government levels. It's really important that town and village work together to a common end, that the supervisor, village manager, chief of police, fire, mayor, trustees, that we work together to a common good. It makes for a much quieter administrative task of running the business of the village. But more importantly, it allows us to do things like build bridges instead of tearing things down, but build bridges with colleagues so that we can do something like announcing that we are close to $30 million in grants. For a village like ours, it's life-changing. We used to get really excited about $50,000 here and there, like that can help a park, that could help a sidewalk. We don't have the capacity financially in this village to pay to do major works, fix entire intersections, new water plant, a whole new community center. With the help of other federal, state, and county government, along with the town, the village, Briarcliff, and everybody else working together, we've been able to garner about 30 million on a budget of a total of 59 million. And yes, I know it's about 58 point something, but we're going to call it 59 million. That's astounding. It really allows to make major changes. So I want to review what we're going to be doing, not what I wish we will be doing, but what this board sitting here for the past 2 years has worked so diligently with really a great staff that works well together, people sitting here and some folks that aren't around the table. Everybody deserves kudos for it. This is not an attaboy. This is not a pat on our backs. We don't do these jobs for the pats on the backs, believe me. We do it because we live here, just like most of you live here, and because it improves everybody's lives, from the youngest to the oldest, from the newest immigrant to, I think when I was in the room on New Year's, there was somebody who was a sixth generation Ossining family person. So everybody benefits from this, and you'll hear it. Is the presentation available?
Yes.
Great. Jamie, did you get new glasses, my friend?
They're her blue screen glasses.
My God. I'm getting very spiffy. So at the end of the day, Ossining is now on the map. What does that mean? It means when opportunities come up at the governor's level, we get called. It means when our neighbors in Croton, in Tarrytown, in Mount Kisco, in Briarcliff want to do a project, they come now to us. It means that we've become a place where innovative thinking, like the use of e-bikes, becomes available to us. And this is all being done during a national climate where I'm always told not to discuss politics, which is humorous, because as you would imagine, the five of us are actually in politics. I always find that comment humorous. So, and I think most of you know me, I'm quite transparent and very blunt about things. It's a tough environment for local politicians. It's a tough environment to be a cop. It's a tough environment to be a firefighter. We see our very own Ossining resident hit with a machete on New Year's Eve as a rookie, right? Protecting folks. So it's just a tough environment. It seems to be a lot more vitriol and hatred out there. So I take enjoyment in actually bringing things that will get done here because we're focused on what we can do for the village to make people's lives better. So I'm going to do this like speed dating. I'm looking around the room. Probably 5 of you even know what I'm saying, but it's okay. Speed dating. We're doing this quickly. Next. We have a new logo. This was a project started really while some of us were trustees. I was not yet mayor. And based on feedback from the community, we've moved on to a new logo, which I think is almost on all of our vehicles. We're not taking all the old logos and seals down from every building and every tree and that's not what's happening. As new things happen, or trucks or vehicles, whatever, we will switch over. Next. This is all on the website, so you could read the details. So this is the mixed use housing. This is 100% affordable. It was a DPW organic dump. It's near the waterfront. In building 109 affordable units and retail space and community space by the waterfront with a parking garage. So we'll not add to the parking burden. Within reach of the train, we are moving forward, and this project is well on its way. This project will be available to 109 families, and equally importantly, it will connect the Sing Sing Kill to come all the way to the waterfront so that people can walk right to the waterfront, then walk around and really be a destination location. People from the city now come into our community to walk on that. It's a wonderful place, especially in the summer. Next. So I told my husband I was going to be here. Some of you know him. He's Judge Mark Reisman. I told him we were going to be doing streetscaping. He has no clue. He's like, what is that? And that's a bureaucratic word. No one will understand that tonight. So streetscaping means that we're redoing streets and the way traffic moves. It doesn't mean we're doing development. What it means is you might add in a sidewalk or one may not have existed. This is really by the parking. This is just a rendering down by the train station so that more people can walk down there and connect the Kill to the buildings. It's near Water Street, an area that's been very sort of messy for a number of years because it just keeps sort of skipping the development route. So we're adding streets. This is all approved projects. Next. Parking. Do I need to tell all of you that we have some parking challenges in this room right now? With this audience here, the audience may be watching, maybe yes, maybe no. So there are a number of initiatives run by a number of people here, including the chief of police, including Sue Donald, including Maddie, and a number of staff members, Paul, who's our chief engineer. We're looking at different ways to rethink parking and to modernize those meters into better platforms for parking. We're also going to do we did a lot of mobility studies. So we're also going to look at fee changes to manage parking. And we're also going to, it turns out that people don't know we have parking behind, like on Main Street behind the buildings. People that come in for the weekend don't actually realize where we have parking because we actually don't have signs. We have lot numbers that don't actually correlate to anything. So we're changing some of that. Next. So this is one of my favorite projects, long overdue. The middle of the village is a five-way, this has already started, five-way corner, five-way intersection redesign. You're all familiar with this. It's where the deli is, Market Square, near the post office. This has been looked at so that our fire trucks fit. We also are bumping some of the sidewalks out so that people don't have to run for their life with strollers as they try to cross, but actually can easily walk across the intersection. It's a very busy intersection. So, and the walkways, the crosswalks, you probably noticed, some of you know this, there isn't actually an official crosswalk in one of those side streets. There just isn't one. We sort of created one. Again, a project that's already started. So again, to be clear, this is not a wish list. This is not a promise from the Board of Trustees. These are all approved and they're all going to start getting done. Some of them already are on the way. I forgot to mention it's also ADA appropriate, which not only helps ADA, it also helps women with children and people that take care of the elderly to safely cross. Next, sorry, Jamie. Route 9 road diet. It's actually a thing. They actually at state call them road diets. This is the intersection on Route 9. It's like a 1 mile area where we're going to bump out actually up the hill from the community center so that once again, people do not need to run across a very busy Route 9. It'll narrow the road a bit, creating more parking. It's actually, I think, the original design of that road. And it'll also, we will be enhancing and putting in new lights so that they coordinate with each other so that the traffic doesn't get backed up by commuters. Next. I should say on this project, we got about $4 million just 2 weeks ago from Mondaire Jones, the outgoing congressman, out of the omnibus bill. It's a big deal to get $4 million. Usually cities get money, not us. So for us, it's a huge bump up. People have been talking about this route for like 2 decades now, and we're actually going to start working on it. So it's a big deal for us. Market Square is going to be redesigned. More walkability, stage where it is now is not usable, etc. I don't want to go through the details. It's a big project that hasn't started yet, but this will start. Next. Multimodal transportation, because you got to love the words, like a crossword puzzle word. Nobody will ever know what this is unless I explain it. So it's not really a parking garage. What this is, it's going to have electric recharging station, bike stations, parking, hopefully solar panels on top. So it's multimodal rather than saying parking garage, because it will be used for more things than just parking. And that's pretty cool. And that will also help with the parking scenarios. Am I leaving anything out? That's also part of the DRI. Next. 200 Main Street. It's a beautiful building, but it's been sitting empty for, honestly, some of you may know the exact time, anywhere from 40 to 70 years, depending on who you're speaking to. Regardless, it's been a long time sitting empty. We have brought it up to code. The goal here and the grants that we get are based on the fact that we will put it back on the tax rolls. So we are looking, please spread the word out if you know entrepreneurs. We're looking for a business to come in and do something with the building. It's a beautiful building with a patio and a view of the Hudson. It's obviously an old bank building. Next. My second favorite, the community center, one of the most used inclusive infrastructure utilities in this community. I don't have to tell you, you all know that. We have got a number of different grants because once you get one big grant, you start getting other grants. That is another reason you want to have a strategic approach to getting major league grants. Basically, we're redoing the center. We're not taking it down. We're not moving it. We are actually expanding it out and redoing the interior, hopefully without stopping the activity that goes on because so many seniors and children use it. And we are taking into account not just engineers and architects, but our own staffs and board input into what happened at COVID The community center now is a bunch of little rooms, so we have to build it exactly the other way around. In a time when you need more communal space, more senior space, etc. This one's just a fun one. We are looking to redo, we just did a couple of weeks ago through outgoing Senator Reichlin Melnick, is inclusive parks and playgrounds. We're upgrading all our parks and playgrounds or adding to them. What did we do? Just Vets Park, right? That's where we were just 2 weeks ago. And that just means that children with disabilities, emotional disabilities, physical, are able to use a playground. The playgrounds, if you look down, look exactly the same to anybody, except there are things on there that make it much easier for these kids to be able to play with their friends or their siblings. So very proud of that. Next. Also from a grant. The Youth Bureau recently got a grant, it's about 150,000. This grant's a little different because the village actually has to do some match funding. And this is basically to upbuild a youth bureau for our youth. Next. Firehouse consolidation, big project, long time discussed, or doing it. I don't know how to say it any more simply than that. We have consultants who last year looked at best case scenarios, interview people. Is that wrong?
No, we updated, but I don't know what's happened, but it was 1876 Steamer House.
Oh, you have XX.
Yeah. So sorry about that. That was supposed to be filled in, but it dates back a long time.
Yes, I mean, again, I don't have to tell most of you here, some of our firehouses are old. It's this town, this village is old, and so are some of the firehouses. And they work really well, and we do have the largest volunteer fire department in the state of New York. I made sure, I think, to say that a few times in front of the congressman and senator, because we're always hitting them up for money is the reason I say it often. And I think it's going to start happening this year, where we actually implement some of the initiatives that will be recommended. I haven't seen them yet, but they will be. Next. So I have a reputation for saying, I actually said we'll be the greenest village in the county. Jamie Hoffman, who does communication, decided to make it in the country by adding an R. It's all good. The point is, one of the roles Maddie Sahaj has, when she became deputy village manager, and both her passion for the environment and making everything regarding the environment just better for the community has really put us on the forefront of looking to many different, from trees to getting more grants. The e-bike initiative is in a zero emission project, a $7 million project. So there's lots of green austining working with us, combining the town, Briarcliff, and the village, getting EAC, who I met with today, more active. All of these things, wetland legislation, all these things are to care about the environment, because we're on the cliff of the Hudson River, and everything we all do every day flows down to the river. So we've got to make sure that we are cognizant of taking care of the environment. Next. Solar roofs, also environmental. So yes, since I've lived here and people have talked about solar, my house is solar, your house is solar too, right? There are a lot of initiatives in this community, but getting panels and canopies up by the commuter train station is actually happening. Again, not a maybe, an actual, this is an item, and the operations center will have solar panels. Just so you're aware, it's not only for energy, it actually saves the cars from getting snow on them. So on a snow day when the commuters come back, cars are clean because there's no snow on their cars. And it actually saves all of the pavement because you have less sun on your pavement during the summer, less rain and snow in the winter. So it's a multi reason to be looking at solar panels, again, through a grant. Next. This is the e-bike. We've published a lot about this. Everybody asked me the same question. Why do you need $7 million to buy bikes? That's not actually the initiatives. It's part of the initiative. These are affordable bikes that people will actually own. So it's not just a sharing, a dock sharing. It's for the docks. It's actually for creating what they call e-bike avenues. You can't just ride down Main Street or on Route 9 with bicycles without actually planning how to do that. And that's really where the majority of the money, and this comes from Governor Hochul's office. The city didn't get it because they already have these programs in place. New Rochelle has a program, but they're flat. We're on a side of a cliff. The beauty of this is a lot of it will be trials. And then our communities like Croton, Tarrytown, et cetera, are also going to get funding to do it in their communities. So we start looking at the Hudson Valley. So I think that puts us on the map of being like an innovation hub. Exciting stuff. I own an e-bike. I ride it. If I can do it, everyone can do it. Next. The water treatment plant. It's old, it needs to be updated. It's expensive to do. Pre-COVID, it was expensive. Post-COVID, it's really, really, really expensive. But we have to have clean water. And it's the responsibility of governments, all local governments. Shame on those that don't do this. We've stepped up to this years ago, and we continue to move this project forward. Probably the end. Yes, Jamie? Oh, this is actually a town project that they used from the DRI done with the village, which is to increase the usability of the stage. It's a very largely used areas, and I think they're going to move the bathrooms from the center of that park to the side. So they're going to work on that. The village is a partner, but it's really a town project through the DRI that the village subscribed to. Next. The waterfront, I'm not going to say much about that because you'll be reading about it. It's not in direct initiative. Next. The Olive Opera House. Don't know how many of you know that it's called the Olive Opera House. It's a beautiful building right in the middle. And yes, right where we're doing the five-way intersection, right in front of that building. They applied as a for-profits, nonprofits were allowed to apply to the state as part of the village's DRI. If you're in the area of the DRI, and they did receive money from the governor's office to redo the building inside and out. It doesn't do it justice. The entrances are now on both sides. There's an entrance on one side, then you see the space with the glass on one side. So and then they're going to start looking for tenants or nonprofits. So that'll actually invigorate the downtown. Next. Okay, basically, this has 25 million. It's a little bit north of 25 million. It is, given that we're $59 million now, including the huge water plant expense, if you count that in, this is a significant amount of money that we are going, it's not a check. We don't get checks and then we use them however we want them or sneak things in. They are totally watched by colleagues in other governments. They're highly managed. Oftentimes we have to do the work and then we get reimbursed for it. And they're each project is very specific. It took a lot of writing, about 1.5 years worth of work. And I know Dana White was also involved in the video that we have shown many times to make sure that we do the best we can to really promote this village, to get on somebody's screen, and we got on a lot of people's screen, that it's our turn. All the cities have now gotten lots of money, and now it's a village like ours with almost 30,000 people. It's our turn to be on the map and to start getting some of our money back from senior government, from state and county and federal, back into our community to better the community. So I wanted to, I know people are watching on Zoom. I know people will see this on video. I hope we don't get distracted by the national political environments. I hope we don't get distracted by what I consider to be, in my lifetime, one of the most uncivil past probably 2 to 3 years, in my opinion, already starting in 2023, with such uncivil and uncivic behavior where people have somehow lost their way and their compass in being able to discuss things rather than scream at each other. I hope we don't get distracted by screamers, by bullies, by loudmouths, and move all of these initiatives forward that benefits people at all ages from all backgrounds. So that is sort of my state, my speech that I wanted to do a little bit more of, inauguration, but we are running late. I appreciate the time. We're going to do announcements later. And I think we're going to go now to a happy event,
Yes,
because I know it's getting warmer in here.
it's very warm. Special presentation, promotion of Police Officer William Gallagher to detective. I'm going to step away.
Okay, do we have, is it the mic over there? It's on the. And do we have, okay. you're probably not gonna want to stand there. You might want to squish in and stand on that side.
Do you need this?
You know what I mean? Always.
You want to memorize it?
You know, you think I would have it memorized, but I don't, even for my own. They're actually, this one's actually different. How are you?
Good, how are you?
Welcome.
You want to take this off or are we good?
They fixed the mics. Jamie, can you hear us from this mic?
I can, but you may want to move to the right so that you're on the camera.
Oh.
At least on the Zoom, maybe stand in the center. You
This
can
is
take
the
the
camera in the
microphone, you can carry it.
Lieutenant, let me just-
Oh, it's quite all right.
You,
All right.
I'm just looking here to see for the Zoom people. Okay. Aaron, can you move to your left, I think, close. Yeah, there. And then everyone, Rika and I'm sorry, I don't have it. Yeah, skinny up.
One more step forward.
One more step, Rika. There you go. You guys are all in. Thank you.
Now I know what my husband feels like at home. Okay. So I just grabbed the mic for a simple reason. Want to welcome recently appointed, not really appointed, I guess sworn in, Supervisor Liz Feldman. So welcome here. And did you want to say a few words before?
No, go ahead.
Okay, so we'll do the swearing in and then,
Okay.
great, thank you. I'm gonna put this so both of us can see.
Go right ahead.
All you have to do is squeeze to me.
Got it.
Okay, you got to hold your right hand up. We're almost there. I,
I, William Gallagher,
being duly sworn, state on my honor,
being duly sworn, state on my honor,
I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will never betray my badge, my integrity, my character, or the public trust.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
I will always have the courage to hold myself and others accountable for our actions.
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
Further, that I am a resident of the state of New York,
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
and I will support the Constitution of the United States of America and the state of New York.
I will obey the ordinance, rules, regulations of the Village of Ossining,
I will obey all the ordinances, rules, regulations of the Village of Ossining,
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Detective
and will faithfully discharge the duties of the Office of Detective
in and for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
in and said for the said Village of Ossining, New York, to the best of my ability.
You ready? Congratulations.
Cool. Pinning Bill's badge on is his wife, April. Happy to have you here. Thank you. Bill Gallagher is a lifelong Ossining resident, graduate of Ossining High School, student athlete. He's been a 12-year member of the Ossining Police Department. He's been a member of a lot of different units that we have. He is trained as an ACO for a little while now, so you have to stop doing that now. He's on our bicycle patrol. He's on the Marine unit. He's part of our tactical team. Billy does a lot of great things for us, and I know he'll continue to do that. So thank you. Anything? Wanna say something?
Keep it short. Thank you. I appreciate the honor. I want to thank God first. I want to thank my beautiful wife for being my support from day one, my family, all my friends, and of course, everybody at the OPD, man. I mean, I wouldn't be here without you guys. That's it. I'm going to keep it nice and short. I do want to congratulate recently retired Joe Bracero. I've had the honor to work with Joe for the last 12 years, and the last month and a half or so, he's been training me. I have some big shoes to fill. So I will do my best to do that. And again, thank everybody for coming out.
I just want to say that when you said big shoes to fill, is he going to be able to do the dance, or is it just, what do you think? Are you working on it? Is that your next role? Okay. I want to say that one of the things we did in inauguration, because of COVID for the past couple of years, my last inauguration was actually, on Zoom and all that. We're still actually working so that people don't all have to come in here. Family is super important, and it doesn't matter how you define family and how many members you have and where they are. We learn a lot about that. But I personally, because of what I do, and all of us realize that our spouses, our children, our parents, our neighbors, you can't really do public service and be out on the front lines without the family support that is there quietly always. And so, that's sort of a great thing to have. So I really appreciate, so many people forget to thank their spouse. I'm just going to tell you. So I appreciate it right out of the bat. So congratulations, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
You can take pictures, if you want to take some pictures, if there's some picture taking, and then we'll go into our meeting for a few minutes, and you can continue out there, like on the staircase, if you guys want to do some picture taking. Liz, are you serious?
Yeah, never mind.
Thank you, Mayor.
Just send me a picture with.
Thank you, Matt.
Nice. Photo op.
Tell when you're voting too.
Everybody's, it's a photo op. You have to get the step and repeat.
That's right. Come on, handle him. Skinny up. Gotta pop.
Get it when we get the red carpet. Get it when we get the red carpet.
I'd like to go up and get the right set of glasses. It's right now blind, but it's really okay.
Those are nice.
Oh, I want you
Here's
to
my
get.
computer. Did you see the thing from Dale? Is one.
Stuart, do you want to mute your microphone?
No, I'll show you.
We have this few minutes.
Two, 6, 5. Yep.
So fire,
All right.
fire department in there.
Do you want to mute your microphone?
This
Bob,
is
what
one I
did you
got
guys-
from.
Did you guys find a problem?
Sue, would you like to mute your microphone?
Jamie, good to be there on Sunday. Jamie?
Yes.
Hot mic.
Just leave.
Got a hot mic?
You need to find and have a check ready too.
Okay,
A wonderful meeting everyone. Oh, I have a copy right here. Never mind. Oh, yeah. I had this one.
we don't usually print them, but
No, I have one.
literally nobody's staying. Right?
No shit.
I have to find out how many people are watching this.
Reorg.
Give me a second.
Sure.
I'm texting something to Jamie. Hold on. Okay,
Mayors and trustees announcements?
Folks, anybody?
I have something. I would just like to congratulate the Mike and Miriam Risco on 28 years, I believe, in business. And I think they're having a gathering on Friday afternoon, but of course, they are an indispensable part of our community, and I congratulate them on so many years in business.
Great.
Great.
Anybody else?
Okay,
Did I hear something? No, I'm just going to wish everybody as our first meeting, a happy new year. I encourage you to tell your friends, family, send it on social media to sort of get the mayor's message, because that is where we distribute a lot of information about what is happening in the village, in addition to the web blast, which has a lot of events, etc. So we're ready to go.
okay, 21-23 mayor appointments.
Yes, I'm looking for my glasses. Give me a minute. I just put them away. Okay. If I do this in the right order, but Stuart, you'll correct me if I'm
Well,
off.
it's on the,
Yeah, I know. So I have to match it.
Yeah.
Oh, it is matched. Yay. Okay. Civilian Police Complaint Review Board Chair Jennifer Cabrera, BOT Liaison Trustee Lopez.
Mayor, just hang on. Are you going to do the
Yeah, Mayor.
the appointments first, which is
Oh,
A?
I'm sorry. I missed the entire paragraph.
That's
Got
okay.
it. Got it.
thank you.
Thank you, sir. And then I'll have to reword this entire thing. Okay. So I am pleased after discussion with Deputy Mayor Casada. I had a long conversation and he is very supportive that we move the baton to our newly appointed Deputy Mayor, Omar Lopez, who I'm very happy to say has been instrumental in working with our police reform, police department in general, and brings, I think, his years of professional life also to the forefront. Every trustee on this board has such a different journey to getting here, and every single board member contributes his or her own stamp to every position we hold. So I'm sort of excited about the upcoming year. Do you want to say a word or two?
Thank you. I'm honored for the responsibility and appointment. I think that Deputy Mayor Quesada has done a tremendous job in his decade in office, now going into years 11 and 12. He shows you how it's done. And so it takes a lot of teamwork to get this done. And I appreciate the opportunity to serve in this particular way. So I can't do as good a job as he did, but I'll do the best that I can.
Mayor, may I?
Of course you may.
So Omar, the challenge is when the mayor is absent, just make sure the minutes and the meetings are short.
I hear the dig. I want to remind everyone, we used to go till 2 a.m. We now go to 11, but having now heard that comment, I
I
will
said- I
make
said
sure that
meetings. I
tonight
didn't
we
say-
will be going very late.
I
Just-
said meetings, I didn't say executive sessions.
All right, well, thank you, and really looking forward to it. It's nice to be able to hand that baton over. Village historian Joyce Chirac Cole, she's done a fabulous job. She has just brought such a different and new light. I don't know if I can compare it to Dana White, who was just fabulous, a historian before becoming a trustee. And she actually is the one that recommended Joyce Chirac Cole. And it's just been a wonderful ride. And it's going to continue to be a wonderful, productive ride to really discuss the history of this really wonderful village filled with history. And again, different people with different journeys. So happy to appoint her. Chair Board of Ethics is Claude Tusk. Now, liaisons to boards. Liaisons are village trustees who are liaisons to, it used to be 13 boards, but I think we now have 15 of them. They're mostly active. And by mostly active, I mean that a few years ago, they were barely active. And that's been a big change, both in the previous mayor and now here. to really get the volunteers on these boards to make recommendations to us, to support us, to present to the public. They equal approximately 130 volunteer members of the Ossining Village community. And that's like having an internal focus group right there and then, and we appreciate all that they do. Civilian, I think this is in the right order, right? Civilian Police Complaint Review Board Chair Jennifer Cabrera, BOT Liaison Trustee. I'm sorry, see, now I'm gonna have to say Deputy Mayor Lopez this entire time. Downtown Development Fund Council, there is no chair at this point. The BOT Liaison is Trustee White. Environmental Advisory Council Chair Kate Schlott and BOT Liaison Trustee White. Historic Preservation Commission Chair Dan, I don't think I said his name, Carbovit?
Garbowit,
Carbowit, okay.
Garbowit.
And BOT Liaison is Trustee Casada. Landlord Tenant Relations Council Chair Steve Dewey, BOT Liaison Trustee Casada. Mid Hudson Ambulance District BOT Liaison Trustee Fritchie. Ossining Arts Project, there is no chair, BOT Liaison Trustee White. Ossining Volunteer Fire Department, BOT Liaison Trustee Fritchie. A comment on this. This is not one of the 15 councils or committees that are part of the usual boards because actually the fire chiefs report to the members of the board, but Trustee Fritchie being so active in the fire department has been super helpful in being a liaison so that we can become more efficient, like the study that I mentioned earlier. So I just, in case there's some clarification needed, we're appointing him as liaison to the Volunteer Fire Department Recreation Advisory Board. I don't know why there's no chair, but BOT liaisons, Trustee Casada. Is there no chair right now for the what I lovingly call Parks and Rec because of the show, but actually it's the Rec Advisory Board?
Nothing was reflected on our list, so.
Okay,
don't
so
have
we
one.
will look into that. We can appoint that person later. DPW site at 30 Water Street, not actually a committee, but such a huge project of what was once a village-owned property that Trustee Lopez, I'm sorry, Deputy Mayor Lopez is going to be our liaison. That may last only a few more months. We don't know, hopefully only a few more months, frankly, and may go away. Zoning Board of Appeals Chair Marlene Cheatham and BOT Liaison Trustee Casada. Planning Board, Board of Architectural Review Chair Seth Roy and BOT Liaison Trustee Fritchie. Youth Advisory Board, we will be appointing a chair and we will be appointing a liaison. Police Reform Advisory Committee Chair Jackie Shawn, BOT Liaison Trustee Lopez. Board of Ethics Chair Claude Tusk. The Board of Ethics does not by design have an actual liaison. The mayor function as ex officio on all the committees, so if things come up, we manage just fine. What did I forget or miss? What do we got?
You have them all.
You got them all.
Okay.
Okay, organizational meeting, annual resolutions. Board of Trustees, meeting schedule, regular meetings. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining will hold regular meetings for the village board set forth on the schedule below for the year 2023 at 7:30 PM at the Municipal Building, first floor conference room, 16 Croton Avenue, Ossining, New York, 10562, and via Zoom. As in most of these resolutions, we're not going to read all the detail. There's a copy of the agenda posted on the clerk's bulletin board, and it's also on the web. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments?
Just at a point of clarification, I guess, for April and May 2023, there's no webinar ID, but on the other ones have. Is there a reason why is that the case?
Right.
That will get the button right. That will get assigned.
Yeah.
We have the numbers, but the actual
Okay.
webinar will get assigned.
Okay.
As we get closer.
All right, no problem. Thank you.
All in
Yeah, I
favor?
see it.
Aye.
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 They're actually the same numbers though. See.
Board of Trustees, meeting schedule, work sessions. Resolved that the Board of Trustees for the Village of Ossining will hold a work session for the Board of Trustees and set forth on the schedule below for the year 2023 at 7:30 PM at the Municipal Building, first floor conference room, 16 Croton Avenue, Ossining, New York, 10562, and via Zoom. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Official newspaper, The Gazette. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby designates the Gazette as the official newspaper of the Village of Ossining for 2023 and the Journal News as necessary. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Mileage allowance. Resolved that whenever it is shall be appropriate to compensate village officials or village employees for mileage, they shall be reimbursed at the rate of 62.5 cents a mile. Wow, and be paid upon a claim voucher after audit and approval in accordance with the IRS standards. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Retaining bond counsel. Resolved that upon recommendation for the village treasurer, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby retains the firm of Warwick, Harrington and Sutcliffe LLP, 666 Fifth Avenue, New York, New York, 10103-0001 to serve as the bond counsel effective immediately in accordance with the letter of correspondence on December 27th, 2022. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Any comments?
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, appointment of a special counsel for land use matters. Resolved that upon completion of the, upon recommendation of the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees retains the firm of McLeod, Goldberg and Stout, 1311 Mamaroneck Avenue, Suite 340, White Plains, New York, 10605, to serve as special counsel on land use matters for 2023 in accordance with the engagement agreement dated November 1st, 2019. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comments?
I just have a question for Stuart. The rates haven't changed?
No.
Thank you.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reappointments of special counsel for labor and personnel matters. Resolved upon recommendation of the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustees hereby reappoints Kane and Bean, PC, 445 Hamilton Avenue, 15th floor, White Plains, New York, to serve as special counsel for the village for labor and personnel matters for a period of January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2023, in accordance to the retained agreement, excuse me. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Comments?
Just the same question for Stuart.
Fees remain the same.
Thank you, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Reappointment of special counsel for litigation matters. Resolved that upon recommendation of the Corporation Council, the Village of Ossining Board of Trustee appoints Hodge, Welsh and Burke LLP, 55 Church Street, Suite 211, White Plains, New York, 10601, as special counsel for litigation matters for 2023 in accordance with the engagement letter dated December 16th, 2021. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second?
Comments?
Fees stay the same.
Thank you, sir.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Very good. Okay, finance, adoption of investment.
Oh,
Resolution
sorry.
I.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh,
Clerk appointment, deputy village clerk. Sorry about that. I'm sorry about that, Janet. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby appoints Janet V. Guinnessaka as deputy village clerk for the term of office beginning January 1, 2023 through December 31st, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Second?
I have a comment. This is always enjoyable. Career opportunities abound in civil service. I think, I don't know about everybody else. When I grew up, nobody ever discussed, opportunities in municipalities and police departments, fire, whatever. And there are opportunities. And we're so pleased that a number of people have moved up recently from the village to the town to higher level office, bigger salaries, more responsibility, more education. And here's another example, because I think she was part-time and now we're moving her to full-time.
She was our part-timer for the last probably year and a half.
Right.
She's going to take over. She is deputy clerk and we're very excited and
Right.
she is outstanding.
Right. And I think bilingual as well.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
So these are all great things. These are all from the community. These are all the things we really love, and take the opportunity to encourage everyone there out there who might be listening, might see this later on. There are opportunities for all sorts of jobs, and we're looking for good people. So Here's a case in point. Very excited about this. Okay.
Excellent. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, now we'll get to finance. Adoption of investment policy. Whereas pursuant with the General Municipal Law, Section 39, local governments from the state of New York, including villages, are required to adopt a comprehensive written investment policy. And whereas local governments are required to review their investment policies on an annual basis, and whereas the Village of Ossining has reviewed its policy since adoption in 1993, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby approve and adopt the following investment policies for the Village of Ossining, subject to the approval of the Corporation Council. And again, the entire investment policy is on the web and in the clerk's office. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
Comment? Sue,
I'm sorry.
ready for the
Oh.
vote?
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Got to turn a couple of pages now, so
Okay. Just
bear
tell
with
us
me.
where. Oh, these aren't paginated. Okay.
Finance and management policy.
What Roman
Okay,
numeral?
we're going
Ah,
to
K.
K. We're on K now. Finance, debt management policy. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby adopts the debt management policy as follows. And again, it will be, it's on the webpage and in the,
So moved.
no, Bob Fritchie.
Second.
Sorry, Bob.
Second over here to my left.
And all in favor?
Aye.
Excellent. Finance, adoption of procurement policy. Whereas section 104-B of the General Municipal Law requires the governing body of every municipality to adopt a procurement policy for all goods and services that were not required by law to be publicly bid. And whereas comments have been solicited from all officers in the Village of Ossining involved in procurement policy, now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Ossining does hereby adopt the following procurement policy, which is intended to apply to all goods and services that are not required by law to be publicly bid. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
M. Finance. Finance, adoption of expense reimbursement policy for village employees and public officers other than elected officials. Whereas from time to time, the village employees and public officers other than elected officials may incur certain expenses in connection to performing their duties, including attending training, seminars, and conferences. And whereas the Village of Ossining has established a guideline in which village employees and public officers other than elected officials may be appropriately reimbursed for such expenses. Now therefore be it resolved that the Village of Ossining does hereby adopt the following expense reimbursement policy for the village employees and public officers other than elected officials. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
N. Personnel.
Where are you?
And
N.
Okay.
N. Personnel Management Benefit Plan. Whereas the Village of Ossining has heretofore historically provided and does currently provide certain employment benefits to elected official managers and appointed personnel. And whereas the village desires to ratify and reaffirm these benefits, which have been and will continue to be provided to elected official managers and appointed personnel. And therefore be it resolved that in accordance with past practice, the Village of Ossining shall continue to provide benefits for elected officials, managers, and appointed personnel as follows. And again, that is on the board in the clerk's office and in the webpage. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
I just have a comment, Stuart, and any of these that we're going through, if there are changes from the previous year, just let me know, okay?
just so you know, Mayor, okay, thank you. The expense reimbursement policy for village employees and public officers is slightly changed from prior years. The procurement policy is what this board had adopted, but the last year's had the prior procurement policy.
Okay,
So
so it's what
that's-
we
So
adopted.
that's why we have,
Okay.
but M,
Yeah.
the adoption of expense reimbursement policy for village employees and public officers, that was discussed by the board, and this is the policy that the board wanted. Again, it does not include elected officials.
Got it. Okay, so that's, I would just appreciate that, just so we are
Sure.
aware of the,
Yes,
great.
Village of Austin financial goals and policies. Resolved that the Board of Trustees does hereby approve and adopt the following financial goals and policies of the Village of Austin. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And again, it's posted on the web and in the manager, in the clerk's office. God bless.
it's the adjournment.
Wow. Adjournment,
Wait, where are
adjournment.
we? Just give me the number, the letter.
We're up on,
Mayor, we're Roman numeral 6, adjournment of organizational meeting.
Six.
Page 25.
Yeah, these aren't paginated. That's the problem. No, yours is, but not what you printed out. So how far did we go?
So you went back.
Nope. LMN. Oh, the pages are.
at the top of the page.
Way out of order.
You have it at the top of the page?
No, it's just, it's,
Okay.
my printout is there must be a page,
Yeah.
right? Some of
Yeah.
them repeat themselves. Okay.
Yeah, it goes all the way to 6.
So I was over, this one is a little off.
Okay,
It was good till now,
then.
but now
Okay.
the pages are a little bit off. Okay, we're here.
So
We're with you.
adjournment of organizational meeting. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Sue?
Okay, hold on. All in favor?
Aye. Sorry about that.
That's all right. I just have to,
Take your time.
okay. Administrative reports. Village Manager Karen Totori.
Look, Karen is sitting here going, what, 8:30? And I'm already, what just happened?
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Good evening, everybody. Happy New Year. So I have 2 appointments I want to note for the record. Reappointing Robert Balker as a member of the Planning Board for a 5-year term starting December 31st, 2022, and appointing Daniel Garbowit as Chair of the HPC for a 5-year term starting December 31st, 2022. So
I just hear that. Garbage, didn't I just,
yeah, I'm just putting it in the record because it's,
oh,
yeah,
okay,
yeah.
You just mentioned that in
All right.
So
okay,
I'm just reiterating because it's a new appointment starting this
Okay.
year, so.
sure.
So as the mayor mentioned, we ended the year with a bit of a bang. Not only did we get the designation of funding for the DRI, which gives us ample support for a new community center and multimodal parking garage and other benefits throughout the village. We also got the $4 million for the road diet and on Route 9. And we also received the Youth Bureau planning grants for the Youth Bureau program grants for a swim water safety program, as well as an after-school program, Austin Youth Experiencing Success, and that'll be run out of the library. Additionally, we received $106,000 for a local waterfront revitalization program planning grant, which will allow us to augment work that we've already done in the comprehensive plan and make sure that we're planning for resilience on the waterfront. So I would like to remind the board that next week, developer Joe Apicella, who's a developer for Crescent Manor, 136-140 Croton Avenue, the former site of the Sun Valley Nursery, will be presenting a cost benefit analysis and the application case for support that they presented to the county IDA. As you may know, the County Industrial Development Association is responsible for granting pilots, that's payment in lieu of taxes, for developments that provide significant public benefit. In this case, it is a senior affordable housing project that is being planned for that site for people ages 62 and older, and it is rents are set at 40%, 50%, and 60% of area median income. There will be some public space common areas as well as first floor retail. So it is mixed use, and it is in keeping with the form-based codes that we have established for Croton Avenue. Mr. Apicella and his team had applied for a 30-year pilot starting at $1,000 per unit and $5,000 for the retail space with a 2% annual increase. So it's just important to know that this is a little bit unusual because usually the pilot agreements are discussed with the taxing entities before it goes to the IDA. In this case, it went to the IDA first. So we reached out to the IDA when we realized there was a public hearing scheduled that we were not aware of. We were not aware that the pilot had been negotiated with the county. So that public hearing had been postponed indefinitely. So Mr. Apicella will be here next week to discuss the pilot. So I just wanted to remind everybody of that. And then also the
I'm
board.
sorry, Karen, all that information is going to be available on our website for next week's meeting as well? Just asking for the pilot?
I have to, I mean, I don't have, I'll ask for his information in advance. So what I have, we can put up what has been proposed so far, but I can ask him for his comprehensive. I don't know that I have all of.
Yeah,
This
I
is
mean,
the-
if we have something that,
Yeah, we
what
can
he's
put what's been
asking,
available. Yeah.
that would be great for us to have that in our website, please.
Not a problem.
Thank
The board also asked for an update on 78 Croton Avenue, which is a development that unfortunately has not been moving forward the way we would have liked it to. To put in really an abridged version, because this has been going on for a long time now. The project was started without the appropriate permits in place, and as a result, several issues have arisen over the past 3 years now that it's been since the project was approved. Right now, work has been stopped, and we're waiting information from the developer that's necessary for us to confirm with confidence the structural integrity of the building. Unfortunately, we don't have information that we've been able to review that dovetails with what the application had, what was in the original site plan. And until we can resolve those inconsistencies, it's going to be challenging for us to approve the building and making sure that it's sound and safe for residents in the future. So due to potential litigation, we've scheduled an advice of counsel immediately following this meeting so that we can answer any questions that the board may have in that. Stuart can answer questions through advice of counsel.
Questions, comments? Anybody?
Could you tell our viewing audience what the IDA is?
Industrial Development Association.
So just sort of to go on the record, my expectation is that, as you heard, with really 24 major initiatives, any one of those initiatives is huge for a village of our size. With the same staff that we've had, we are trying on incrementally increase some consultants that when the projects start, they start, and when it ends, they end as well in their endeavors. I will say that this board does not have a policy in place about pro-development, anti-development, neutral development. Really doesn't matter to us. There was a comprehensive plan we approved it. We are interested in conversations, and we are interested in developers that do the right thing at the right time. Those will get moved forward. Housing isn't just a bunch of concrete poured. Housing is something that gets put up and lasts for decades. And boards like ours have suffered when things were not done correctly in the beginning. It's not a one-time act here. We have to be really careful and sometimes move a little more slowly than people want. And things do change, both for the developers and for staff. All that being said, we're going to look at one by one. This is a densely populated community, densely populated with people in 3.2 square miles, densely populated with buildings. And when people tell me there's a lot of open space, I tell them parks and cemeteries are not open space. Okay, they're actually being used and they can't be sold, and that doesn't qualify. So there's limited space, so we have to be really careful. And you put up buildings, whether it's a huge development, whether it's something that we're working on, all affordable, that we used to own the property, doesn't matter what size, everything that people put up affects their neighbors and the community at large. And so we're looking at each one by one, and we want good developers to come in here, and we want good developers to prosper here, but it's got to be done following our codes, et cetera. I expect with so many initiatives that we will be hearing much more, not less, with people being happy with us and not happy with us. This is, the days of a sleepy little town are over. I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's not a judgment. But we have a lot of initiatives. When we do the community center, I expect comments. When we do the waterfront, I expect comments. When we started doing the 5-way intersection, which everybody's been beating us up about, we got calls right away. What do you mean? How could you be digging up the place? Well, we're digging it up because you can't work on concrete virtually. You got this is what it means to start construction. So I expect that we're going to be listening with keen ears, and we are going to move things forward appropriately. So I think this is just going to be where we are for the next 12 months or so. I'm looking forward to it. This is all conversations. It's all healthy. It's all good. These are examples of people that want to do stuff in our community, and we want to make things happen.
Thank you. One other item. I was remiss. I have one more appointment to the ZBA Zoning Board of Appeals. Brian Granoff, I am appointing him as an alternate member of the Zoning Board of Appeals for a 5-year term.
Stuart, I sent you, I think there was a note from Chair Dewey with some confusion. So I don't know if you want to answer, you want me to answer it?
I will.
I answered it.
I
but-
will. The board tonight actually will be reappointing 3 folks to the LTRC.
Right.
So
I
that
think
should
there's just a
bring
little
it up.
confusion. I'm very excited about that. Good job, guys. So that's okay, good.
Thank you, Sue. Good evening, everybody, and Happy New Year. There is a ZBA meeting on Tuesday night. As of right now, there is just one matter on that agenda. So get there quickly if you wish to see what's going on. There is also an HPC meeting on Monday night, and that will discuss the application involving the Olive Opera House and a certificate of appropriateness for that building. The HPC meeting will be live. It will be at the Ossining Operations Center, but there will be a Zoom component if folks would like to watch. So please do so. There are currently, I think last count, 85 to 88 bills still awaiting signature by Governor Hochul. Some of which directly would involve the village, one of which is of particular interest, would allow villages, cities, and towns to take over abandoned commercial buildings. Currently, there is legislation allowing, actually it is a law now, allowing villages and cities and towns to take over abandoned residential structures. But there is an analogous statute that is currently before the governor right now, awaiting her signature. As the board knows, and we'll be discussing, I believe, in 3 weeks, there were recent amendments to the real property tax law, allowing for property tax exemptions relating to firefighters, as well as to members of volunteer ambulance corps. And for those with a ghoulish sense, the state has become the 6th state in the union to allow for human composting, and that will go into effect within 90 days. You can check with your local cemeteries as to whether or not they will permit that.
What is that? Like, we're going to compost it?
So it is exactly what it sounds like. You basically go back, you essentially go back to the earth.
If I have a compost pile in my yard, could I
No,
just be
it
buried
has to
there?
be through cemetery.
Oh,
It has to be through cemetery. I had to disappoint my wife, who has all those lovely things in the backyard.
I
but-
actually, now I got a little scared there. I was with Dana White on this. Now, I actually have heard about that because they use it like they'll plant a tree over you, whatever. I actually thought more states already had that.
Only 6.
Wow,
What it
okay.
basically is that after 30 days, when you have essentially composted, they can give it back to you and you can go into what's called, as folks know, a columbarium, which is where they would put ashes and things like that. Just one of the many things that the governor has signed over the past couple of days. And
So
Doesn't
you
going into
mentioned,
To a columbarium defeat the purpose of being,
well, no, because you
Composted?
have what's
No.
left is what goes. The
Oh,
other
okay.
part has composted.
so I wanted to,
Lovely.
I wanted to ask you about,
Just love giving this information to the board.
So a few resignations at the cemetery.
so I wanted to ask you about the commercial and the
Yes.
residential.
Yes.
So we have buildings that are both commercial and residential. How does that fall into the governor's bill?
Well,
'Cause that's one
the,
of our big challenges
Right.
here, where one
The-
piece is sort of not being used and the other piece is, and so we've gotten caught up in that.
what's important is how they define what is essentially a vacant building. In terms of commercial, it's essentially that the property owner has not, for example, accepted rent. They have done no maintenance on the building. In there, it's talking about what is essentially a completely commercial building. Now, in the case of the real property dealing with residential, it's really the residential portion of that building. So we have certain buildings in the village where the residential is, and the village could, if it sought to do that, take the building or take the building over for that purpose. But before you get to that, what you would have to do is you'd have to notify the lenders, you'd have to notify anyone who is in potentially the chain of being able to make the repairs and bring the building up to code. So there's a process. The process begins with our building department because they're the ones who actually file the certificate of abandonment. And from there it goes. But as I said, currently on the books is chapter 19A, which is for residential. There is a proposal to add a chapter 19B, which would be for commercial. As I said, it is currently before the governor. It was delivered to her last week. She has, I think she has 30 days from delivery to sign and has not yet been signed.
Okay.
So,
Great.
Can I
Thank you.
piggyback on that question? And thank you, Stuart, for that. On the residential portion, that's something that we passed a few years back. I want to say maybe 4 years ago, 5 years ago.
With the
maybe?
vacant
For
building.
the vacant
Yes.
buildings. As we all know, there are a few buildings that fall under the category. Have we established something in regards to the building department so we can start documenting some of those buildings? And what else are we going to be doing now if that's the case?
Well, what we have done specifically with regard to vacant buildings in the village, in accord with the village code, is we have initially written up orders to remedy to the property owner to get the buildings registered, which is really the key thing, because once they do that, there are certain maintenance obligations. And most of those orders to remedy have actually resulted in the individual filling out the application to do it. We had a few recently where some of the properties that were on Lower Main and down in that direction, where in fact those applications have since been filed. And so they are now obligated to maintain it. That is an annual filing. So there's an annual fee that has to be done with regard to maintenance. And our vacant building statute in the village applies to both commercial and residential. So if there is a vacant commercial building as well, they are required to similarly file the application. And that, I think the fee depends upon the size of the building. There's one fee structure for residential, one fee structure for commercial. And under that code, if there are portions of the building that are vacant, they similarly would come within the vacant building code and require a filing. And the only exception is if someone is essentially doing repairs to the building or intends to demolish the building. Those are really the two exceptions. Otherwise, they have to register.
So, and we know this because we have talked about one residential building in particular, which is on Maple Street.
Correct.
Is that, and I know it's difficult because it's the bank who owns that property. It's not an individual.
Right.
So you don't have to answer this question now, but I would like to get a little more clarification. What are we going to do with that building at some point? Because every time I drive on Maple, the building just looks worse and worse and worse.
And I can tell you, Trustee Quezada, we have both myself The code enforcement officers have reached out to the bank's attorney because we know exactly who it is. And that's like going into the twilight zone to talk to a foreclosure attorney. It just doesn't go anywhere. I have actually had individuals who are interested in buying the property, and I have given them all the contact information. They get no calls back. They would do a short sale. They would take over in foreclosure. They get no calls back. There are provisions, though, under state law where the bank, once it takes possession of the property, which it has in this case, essentially is responsible for maintaining the property. And if they don't, the village can assess fines, which I believe can be as much as, I think, $500 to $1,000 a day against the bank. That's also part of state law. So I will check exactly as to that property, but I'm familiar with it because I know that, as I said, I've gotten inquiries from a number of people who wanted to buy it. And for whatever reason, they're not getting calls back. And it doesn't make much sense because the bank's not doing anything except for paying the taxes.
Correct. And I totally understand that, and I know the frustration because you and I have talked about that property
Right.
several different times. I will give you another address tomorrow.
Sure.
Which is on the State Street as well, which has been abandoned for years.
Okay,
So, thank you.
thank you. I am.
Lieutenant Zimmerman is here for the chief, Chief
Yeah,
Sylvester.
microphone. Do we have a microphone?
Yeah. No, you can.
I don't know.
Thank you. Well, as we just saw earlier, our newest detective, Bill Gallagher, was appointed tonight. Congratulations to Bill. Earlier in December, P.L. Irvin was promoted to sergeant. We just had Detective Bracero retire about a week ago, 26 years on the job. We have two new hires in the academy right now. They started on Monday, so a few days in, good for them. We just had 4 graduate the academy that are in field training and should be ready to hit the road and on their own in March. And now that the holidays are over, we are back in full swing of getting back in traffic enforcement is a major priority for us, as it was before. Now is again, we've had some complaints of speeding and reckless driving. So, slowing the traffic down and making sure everyone's driving safely, reducing accidents is paramount for us. So that's what we're doing. That's all I've got.
So I just want to ask something. I think earlier today, there was some back and forth emails, and then Trustee Fritchie also wrote to me. And I know that Trustee Casada has been talking about this for a number of years. Paul, you're in the room, so I'm going to say it for the record. We need the police and your department to start looking at some of the side roads where there are cut-throughs to go around Route 9 or whatever, where we might put not bumps, which I know are problematic in old community, but yeah, I was gonna say it. That put humps, and if we can't, or it's not recommended, that we for once and for all document why we are not recommending it, because it's just going to solve a big headache for Sue, for me, for everybody else. When we decide we're not going to do it, and this works with the police, the chief is very much aware of it, so please take this back. When you guys decide doesn't make sense, it's dangerous, the fire engines can't go through, the parking is disturbed, we need easement right there where you would put it, just say so and say, no, this is not recommended, so that we don't keep going back. Every time somebody new moves in or moves back, they ask the same question. So if we can document some of this, I think it would be helpful. So Karen, I just think like the team's working together. You take section by section. A lot of it is cut throughs so that you don't, to avoid Route 9 essentially. And when we start construction, 5-way intersection, community center, there's going to be a lot of people cutting through and they're not going to be patient. And there are kids and there's all sorts of folks walking around and people walking their dogs. So I think it's actually more imperative now. You can do temporary ones, you can do permanent ones, but I think it's now like time, especially with so much construction that we're going to see in the next 5 years, to address this. Does this make sense to everybody?
Can I
Okay.
piggyback on that though, Mayor? Thank you. And thank you for bringing that up because that's something that I have, want to say complain, that I brought up several different occasions, and even Stuart has helped me, and I have sent him some information about other municipalities. I don't want to compare that to New Rochelle, but Sleepy Hollow has done it. Tarrytown has done it. They have legislation in regards to humps itself. We have had a quick work sessions on that. So I'm very happy to hear that. I'm hoping that I have the whole full support of the board this time around, where we actually look to do this in different around our village, because I think it's essential to keep our community safe as well. So thank you.
Okay.
Any community event you got coming up that we should know about?
Not that I'm aware of.
Okay, that's the fun part of the conversation.
Well, I think because of weather.
Yeah. The winter.
No.
Oh.
Weather. It was raining when
Oh.
Feeding Westchester truck was supposed to be.
Oh, okay.
headquarters.
We can't hear you without a microphone.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah,
Due to some inclement weather, the Feeding Westchester truck that was supposed to be at headquarters right before Christmas time had to be postponed, and I think it's coming up in the third week of January.
okay, great.
So we'll keep you posted on that. I know Detective Chavez was spearheading that, and he keeps everyone pretty informed on Facebook and Policia de Ossining, the Spanish page that we have running.
Could
So-
you also tell them that I spoke with the CEO from Feeding Westchester? They're looking for drivers.
Okay,
Paying jobs, flexible hours. They're looking for drivers. And so.
okay, I'll
but it's
pass that
not- if he
message
could
along.
Put
and
it on
maybe he could-
Facebook, if you
Yeah.
can put it on his account, that would be great.
Yeah,
Thank
no
you.
problem. Yep.
Okay. So-
Organizational announcements. Is there anyone here that would like to make or in our Zoom family that would like to make an organizational announcement?
Jamie, anything?
There are no hands up.
Okay, moving right along. Public comment of agenda items. Is there anyone that would like to make a public comment of an agenda item?
I don't
No
think.
hands up on the gallery.
Okay, no hands.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, Village Board resolutions. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the December 20th, 2022 special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. All in favor?
Who was
Aye.
there
Aye.
Aye.
on December 20th?
That was a special meeting. That was a special meeting.
Me.
Yeah, for the vouchers. Yeah, you-
Right,
you have to-
so-
You have to abstain because you were not here.
No, the December 20th. Right,
You
so
were
I
not
was not there. Okay,
Right.
so only the three people are there, the other two have to abstain, correct? Okay,
No, no, no. You were here too. Yeah, all of us were here except for you. There was 4 of us.
I'm
Okay,
sorry. I
that's
said three.
okay. Abstain.
I abstain, right.
Yes. Resolved that the Board of Trustee of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the minutes of the December 28th special meeting as presented. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor, go ahead.
Manny,
Abstain. Yeah, I was not present.
okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye,
Abstain?
you're abstaining
Yeah.
and,
Abstaining. I was
Okay.
not in the meeting.
okay. But somebody remembers. So many meetings.
So many minutes, a little time. Resolved that the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining hereby approves the voucher detail report dated January 4th, 2023 in the amount of $9,289,318.84. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second.
I think the laughter is because it's such a huge.
I just cannot see.
I will defer this to Dale.
Dale,
Please,
I mean,
you'll be
just,
better.
I think we know
You'll be
why
better.
it's 9 million, but if you
Yes.
could just give a brief synopsis of the key items that make it so high.
Absolutely. Thank you, Sue. You did very well. Thank you, Mayor. So the majority of that $9 million covers our blanket purchase orders that we asked the board to approve at the first meeting of the year, which allows us to pay for our health claims, our TPA for the health insurance, our stop loss insurance, our workers' comp insurance, our dental claims, and life insurance. So this allows us to keep moving without having it wait for a voucher detail report every 2 weeks to get approved to pay. So the total amount of all of those blanket purchase orders is $8,648,270. So the basis left is just regular operating expenditure vouchers to get approved and paid.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustee reappoints the following individuals to the Landlord-Tenant Relations Council for a 2-year term from January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2024. Rebecca Beatty, landlord member, Cheryl Weeks, neither landlord nor tenant member, and June Carver, tenant member. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Second.
Comments from liaison or
Uh,
not?
Yeah, I'm actually, I'm not sure that if anybody else got that, a letter from Mrs. Weeks. I don't remember seeing one. I tried to contact her. I would like to hold off her reappointment for now until I speak to her. Make sure she's available. I also had a conversation with the chair early today, and she hasn't been participating in some of the meetings, so attendance is one of the requirements that we have. So I would like to have an opportunity to try to call her again tomorrow and see if she's still interested. So
So we're gonna take that one off and
Please.
just do this as.
Amended.
the other two.
amendment. Yep, please.
So we'll do it as an amended
Yes.
resolution. Do I have a motion again?
So move as amended.
Second.
Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Resolved that the Board of Trustees makes the following civilian appointments to the Civilian Police Complaint Review Board for 2-year terms, January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2024. Kimberly Cohen, reappointment, and Michael Aurora. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Comment from liaison, if any?
We still have at least one open spot, and so we will continue to be interviewing interested community members.
Maybe we add that to like the mayor message next week. Jamie, if you could remember to maybe make that a little bit of a highlight so we can
And
reach out a little bit more.
Mayor, yeah, can we add that, the landlord as well, landlord and tenant?
You have to speak to the person, I think, first, but once we do.
No, but we need additional members.
Oh, you do, even if those.
Yeah, yeah,
are-
yeah. We
Okay, so
need at
landlord,
least-
tenant, we
yeah.
just need to know if it's a landlord, a tenant, or neither.
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Resolved that the following appointments are made for the Village of Austining Environmental Advisory Council for a 2-year term from January 1, 2023 to December 31st, 2024. Kate Schlock,
Schlot, yeah.
a reappointed member and chairperson, and Nick Terrell, appointed as member. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second?
Any comments from liaison or?
Yeah, Kate's been doing a great job and really excited that she is going to be continuing. She really goes above and beyond and looking for grants, and she actually works in an environmental capacity. And then Nick Tedrow is a great addition. He works for Sustainable Westchester. He's worked in this field for a long time, and he just bought a house here with his family and child. And so he was eager to be on the council now that he knows he's going to stay in Austining. So exciting.
Super exciting. Just a second. I actually met with Kate earlier today. Thank you. She's very grateful for your help, Maddie, on the environmental. I couldn't agree with you more. Just super. I also reminded her, so I want to make that also public for people who watch this later. You know, if you sat on a board 2, 3, 4 years ago, and you might have had some life changes that made you stop, nothing wrong with moving on to other boards and showing interest in it. We would look forward to that. But she's really, we talked about some very exciting stuff. I meant when I called you to mention, I was very excited to work with PACE, grants, working more with Briarcliff because so much of what goes on is on the border between Briarcliff and Austin. And that border doesn't exactly have a fence, it just sort of happens. So really great stuff. That's a committee that a few years ago had some challenges. So very exciting stuff.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Whereas the village management wishes to establish capital projects for various capital purposes and purchases which were part of the village's 2023 capital plan and designated to be financed by accumulated and available surplus fund balance as of December 31st, 2022. Now therefore be it resolved that the adopted budgets of the general water and sewer funds are modified in 2022 to appropriate unexpended appropriations and or accumulated and available fund balance for 2023 capital plan items aggravating $2,265,000, and that capital projects and capital project budgets are be established as follows. Do I have a motion?
Second.
And I just want to know that on the original resolution, it was a correction. So we'll do it as a amended resolution. Okay. Okay.
Second.
Any changes on this than what's been discussed in detail?
Thank you, Mayor. No, these were all part of the capital plan.
Okay,
And as presented in the capital plan, that was our design for framework for funding. So
okay,
there are one or two that I haven't put forward yet, smaller ones, because I'm not sure of the total cost.
okay,
So when we're more concrete on that, those will come forward.
okay, great, thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
The next one is a bond resolution, so it will be a roll call vote. Resolution authorizing the purchase of a ladder truck for the fire department in and for the village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $1,710,228 and authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of a $1,710,228 serial bonds of said village to pay for the cost thereof. Be it resolved by affirmation voice of an affirmative vote of no less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, as follows. The purchase of a ladder truck for the fire department and for the Village of Austin, Westchester County, New York, including cost incidental thereof, and hereby authorized, subject to permissive referendum at a maximum estimated cost of $1,710,228. This is a roll call vote. Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Lopez,
Aye.
trustee Casada,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Sue, do me a favor, just have someone first move and then second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry. I apologize. I was so.
You want to do it again, or does she have, because she has.
We have
time
a-
She already
now.
got the roll call, so if someone just moves and
Do
seconds.
we have a
we'll be fine.
motion?
So
Okay.
moved.
Second.
Thank you.
Sorry. Okay. All right. Now we have another one, which we will definitely have a motion. Okay, a resolution is adopted by Mrs. President. Oh, the resolution is adopted subject to a permissive referendum. The resolution authorizing the purchase of trucks and heavy equipment in and for the Village of Austin, Westchester, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $1,230,000 and authorizing, subject permissive referendum, the issuance of a $1,230,000 serial bonds of said village to pay the cost thereof. Do I have a motion?
Second.
Comment?
Yeah, is there any comments?
Go ahead, Sue.
Okay. Got it. Roll call vote. Trustee Fritchie.
Aye.
Trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Lopez,
Aye.
trustee Quesada,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Okay. And again, the resolution is adopted, subject to a permissive referendum. Now we have another one. Resolution authorizing the reconstruction and resurfacing of streets in the village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $350,000 and authorizing subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of $350,000 in serial bonds of said village to pay the cost thereof. Do I have be it resolved that the affirmative vote of no less than 2/3 of totaling voting strength of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, as follows. The reconstruction and the resurfacing of streets throughout and in and for the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, including curbs, gutters, drainage, landscaping, grading, or improving right-of-ways and other improvement costs incidental thereof, and therefore authorized, subject to a permissive referendum at a maximum cost of $350,000. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any comments? Sue?
Another roll call vote. Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Lopez,
Aye.
trustee Casada,
Aye.
Mayor Levin.
Aye.
Make sure I'm staying on the right pages now. The resolution is adopted, subject to permissive referendum. Resolution authorizing the repaving of the parking lot at the firehouse at State Street in and for the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, at a maximum estimated cost of $70,000 and authorizing, subject to permissive referendum, the issuance of a $70,000 serial bond of said village to pay the cost thereof. To be resolved that an affirmative vote of no less than 2/3 of the total voting strength of the Board of Trustees of the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, as follows. Paving of the parking lot at the firehouse of State Street and for the Village of Ossining, Westchester County, New York, including costs of incidental therefore and hereby authorized, subject to a permissive referendum, the maximum estimated cost of $70,000. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Second. Any
Roll call
comments?
vote. Oh, do you have any comments? Okay,
We're good.
okay. Trustee Fritchie,
Aye.
trustee White,
Aye.
trustee Lopez,
Aye.
trustee Casada,
Aye.
and Mayor Levin.
Aye.
The resolution is adopted, subject to permissive referendum. Whereas the finance established 2023 streets, sidewalks, curbs, parking lot, and capital project for debt financing sources and CHIPS state aid funding. Whereas the Village of Ossining wishes to establish capital project in accordance to the 2023 capital plan for streets, sidewalks, resurfacing, curbs, and parking lot for State Street Firehouse not to exceed $660,000, designated by financing of the issuance of $420,000 in serial bonds and $240,000 in CHIP state aid funding. Now therefore be it resolved that the capital projects and capital project budgets are as established, which are again in the, will be on the wall of the clerk's office and on the thing. Do I have a motion?
So moved. Second.
Any comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance, establish the 2023 trucks and heavy equipment capital projects from debt financing. Whereas the village management wishes to establish capital projects in accordance to the 2023 capital plan for a 1 6-wheel dump truck, 1 excavator and trailer, 2 sanitation trucks not to exceed $1,230,000 designated to be financed by the issuance of $1,230,000 in serial bonds. Now therefore be it resolved that the capital projects and the capital project budgets are established as follows. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Comments? Sue?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Finance, establishment of the 2023 Fire Department ladder truck capital project from debt financing. Whereas the village management wishes to establish capital projects in accordance with the 2023 capital plan for 1 fire department fire truck not to exceed $1,710,228 designated to be financed by issuance of a $1,710,000 710,228 serial bonds, and now therefore be it resolved, the capital projects and the capital project budgets are established as follows. Do I have a motion?
So move. Second.
Comments? Sue?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Is there any continuing business of the board?
Well, I think only Valerie's here. Jamie, anybody? No, there wouldn't be from there. Anybody here? Continuing business? No.
Is there any new business from the board?
Anybody here? New business?
Okay, is there anyone here that wants to do visitor recognition?
Anybody on, I don't see anybody here. So anybody on Zoom that
No.
is raising their hands?
No one.
Okey dokey.
Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Second.
Okay.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, ladies and gentlemen, 9:12. Wow, that's truly amazing. How did that happen? Very excited. Not only that we completed this meeting with the appointments, all that. Thank you, sir, for being here. Starting off with a happy occasion, but I am really excited to get a lot done in 2023 by all. Paul, glad to see you here because we're counting on you. We've already put Karen on the crosshairs with getting all of this really great stuff that we've all been talking about for years done. So I'm thrilled. Hello, Valerie. That goes for you too. And we're hoping to get lots of work done. So folks, we are adjourned. Boom.